Hey guys, welcome to the Janus Project. Now, we are continuing with our Jordan Peterson series, and we've got a lot to cover. And what I've loved working through is just some of this content. Now, you see up behind me, you've got Jordan Peterson's two books. We've been kind of reviewing both of them. But what I've been doing in this series is I've been giving you a little bit of the backstory to how Jordan Peterson came to fame. Now, he was a professor at the University of Toronto. He really boosted to fame with that Cathy Newman interview, as you guys saw last week. But one of the major issues that's coming to a head right now is a bill in Canada that made it potentially against the law to misgender people. Now, going along with the series that we're starting up with the LGBTQAIP+, there is a lot of confusion when it comes to gender identity stuff. All right, that's just a confusing mess that is present in our world today. And so what happened is Jordan Peterson was being a professor, and this law started to get passed that basically would make it a crime or potentially punishable offense if you misgendered someone. So someone walks into your class, they were born a male, they're a natal male, all right, let's just call it that. They were born a male, and they have decided, because in Canada, pretty much you can go to a court, you can sign a paper and get your gender swapped over. So now you're a female, and now in United States, it's a little bit more involved. If you want more information on that, go look up Blair White versus Jessica Yaniv. Blair White is a male to female transition who is out here in Canada. And then Jessica Yaniv is a male to, doesn't look like female, but sort of transition from Canada, who they just made waves with each other because, again, Blair White looks at it and says, you're being a pervert. You're going into girls' bathrooms and you're just taking pictures, and you haven't transitioned in the least. You are a man walking into a girl's bathroom. And Jessica Yaniv is like, that's hate speech. And so that level of confusion is present all over the place. But what you've got is Jordan Peterson took a stand because what he said is, I will not be forced to use pronouns that I don't agree with. I will not be forced to use all of these, Z and zer and zim and, they. He's like, no, they is plural. I'm not going to be using a plural pronoun for a singular person. And this made huge waves, and people started coming at him about it and called him a transphobe and all sorts of things. And he just said, no Western society has forced you to say anything like that. No Western society has forced you to use certain language. They have limited your speech in certain ways, like you can't walk into a crowded movie theater when there is no fire and yell fire. Now, the reason that's the case is you're making a call to action. If there is genuinely a fire in a burning theater, you are allowed to say fire. That's beside the point, though. So there is a limit to some of our speech. Okay, I can't call on people to go kill you or something like that. But I can say what I want to say. Now, other people might not agree. I mean, this channel has been called out for hate speech and abuse and all of that, even though I've simply been speaking the truth. But that's what happens. And so Jordan Peterson said, I will not be forced to comply with your weird rules. And they said, it's no big deal. It's not like you're going to get thrown in jail or anything. And he's like, well, what if I refuse to comply? Well, you might get fined. Well, what if I refuse to pay the fine? Well, what do you think is going to happen? At that point, you get thrown in jail. And so you literally could get thrown in jail for using the wrong word. Now, if you look on the channel, you're going to see an article that I reviewed by Michael Brown, where this is now a few years on from what Jordan Peterson did. There is actually a father who has been thrown in jail because he refused to use the pronoun that was court assigned. So he had a daughter. She was born a woman. Okay, born a girl. And she transitioned to be a boy, and her mom agreed with it, and the dad said, no, you're not going through with this. No, you can't. That's wrong. And so her dad just steadfastly refused to go along with it, refused to use her new name. He's her dad. He gave her her name. You can't just force him to change that. And so the court said, well, you're going to jail. And so this dad is being thrown in jail for basically contempt of court because he refused to go along with the court order that said, you will refer to your daughter as male. And that's basically what Jordan Peterson came to the spotlight in, because he refused to go along with that language. And I think that's very wise. I think it's very wise to say, I will not comply. And you have seen that throughout the ages where the strong men have stood up and said, this law is unjust. I will not comply. And you know what? That's why I'm covering these topics on this channel, because it's my way of looking and saying, I will not comply. And sure, I may have 45 subscribers and nobody may listen to me, but someday someone might find this and be encouraged by it. And so I will not comply. And you can cancel me, and you can try to protest me, and you can try to shut me down, and you can try to dox me and try to find out where I live. I'm not afraid. I will not comply. And I will not use these gender-neutral pronouns, and I will not refer to people who were born as male as a female. And that's just the thing. You can't force this legally. It's wrong. And so that's why we're doing a series on LGBTQ, AAIP+. That's why we're standing against this stuff. That's why I'm teaching you Christian theology. And that's why I'm teaching this doctrine. And I would ask you to help me out. I would ask you to like this video, subscribe to this channel. I would ask you to comment below, and I would ask you to help spread this news. And guys, I hope you've liked this. This is the latest episode of Jordan Peterson on the Janus Project.